My name is Julie Long. I'm President of the ACT branch of the Children's Book Council, and thank you everyone for coming to Canberra and to this beautiful building for our fabulous celebration today. There's some housekeeping. Please remain in your seats throughout the presentation unless you're one of the special people who is coming up today. The entire program will be live streamed across Australia. Emergency exits are where you came in and also over here. And if we need to evacuate, there will be people from the National Library who will help you. Please remember that you are able to take non-flash photos throughout the event. Yeah, good timing. Please turn your phones to silent and any other device you might have. I don't think I've done that yet. I'll do it in a moment. There will be also opportunities for photos at the end. We are waiting on the arrival of our patron, Her Excellency, the Honourable Miss Sam Moyston, AC. And also when she arrives, there will be Joe Pankridge, who is the National Chair of the Children's Book Council, Luke Hickey, Assistant Director General for Engagement from the National Library, and Emily Martin, Deputy CEO of the Royal Australian Mint. And so when they arrive, we'd like you all please to stand. I believe the Governor-General is about to arrive, so we are just waiting. So talk among yourselves. And once again, we're just so appreciative that people have come to Canberra for this special event. We have some other important people here from the Awards Foundation for the National Children's Book Council, and they have worked hard to make sure that there is money available for the prizes. And we have awards coordinators here, two people, Alex and Marissa, stand up and wave. They manage the entire awards process, and in the audience as well we have some of the judges from each of the 6 categories. Could they please stand up and give a bit of a wave just so we see you? Any of the judges? And please note, some of these people have travelled a long way to get here. Some had flights that were delayed and only just got here. We also have here some representatives from the ACT creative people who are very important to our branch. We sponsor and support them as best we can. Could they all please stand up and turn around and give a bit of a wave as well? Rian, that's you. And I'd like everybody please now to stand. And smile a lot. And later on, clap a lot. I'd like to welcome Luke Hickey to the microphone. I've already explained his job.
Thank you, Julie. Humour, everyone. Hope you did a better job of explaining it than I do, Julie, because sometimes it's hard to explain the sorts of things that we do here at the National Library of Australia. Humour, everyone. Welcome to the National Library of Australia for the 2025 Children's Book Council of Australia Book of the Year Awards. As has probably been explained, I'm Luke Hickey. I'm the Assistant Director General of Engagement. That is a long way of saying I get to do all of the cool and fun stuff that's here today. I am here, however, on behalf of our Director General, Dr. Marie-Louise Ayres, who is currently in our quarterly council meeting and unable to attend, so she does pass on her apologies as she would love to be here today. Special welcome to our Governor-General, Her Excellency the Honourable Sam Mostyn, AC. It is a pleasure to have you here at the library and such a big supporter of libraries as well. Thank you to our busy parliamentarians, Alicia Payne and Angie Bell, for coming down this morning as well and joining us, along with the Acting CEO of the Royal Australian Mint, Emily Martin. Welcome back to Dr. Belle Alderman, ME, who's the Director at the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature. Welcome again, Belle. And to the wonderful team at the Children's Book Council of Australia, including Joe Pankridge, the Chair, and Julie Young, the ACT President. Thanks again for coming back. We've hosted this event here since 2012 at the National Library. It does remain one of our favourite events of the year, so it is a delight to have you here. It was also a real honour for the library to receive the Laurie Copping Award last year. And we're really looking forward to the unveiling of award winners here this year. All libraries are keen to spark a passion in the next generation of readers, writers and illustrators, some of whom might be here today amongst us with the school students that we've got visiting today. What better way for us to help in that mission than to join the Book Council as they recognise the best and brightest of children's literature. At the National Library of Australia, we also acknowledge the first Australians as the traditional owners and custodians of lands, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. On that note, I'd like to welcome Auntie Selena Walker to welcome us to country today.
Thank you, Yuma. Galaganya Jelena Walker. Darawununa. Hello, my name is Selena Walker and this is Ngunnawal Country. I want to first start by acknowledging my elders, the Ngunnawal elders, and pay respect to my elders past, present and future. I would also like to acknowledge a recent passing of my grandmother, Auntie Agnes Shea, who was the most senior Ngunnawal elder here. She was a little old black woman, but she did get around, so I'm sure many of you crossed paths. If you did, you're one of the lucky ones. I would also like to acknowledge any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people that are with us here in the audience or online. Welcome my brothers, sisters, aunts and uncles. And of course I'd like to acknowledge your tribal groups and pay respect to your elders past, present and future. And again, welcome all of our non-Indigenous friends that have joined us, welcome. The Ngunnawal community are the traditional custodians of Canberra and the region. You may not be aware that the Ngunnawal Nation is made up of several family groups and not just individuals who represent this country. Therefore, as a community, we have an elected body known as the United Ngunnawal Elders Council to represent us, along with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elected body of the ACT. This is important for you to understand and acknowledge, for our identity is a collective identity. There are other Indigenous and non-Indigenous people from around the nation, the country and the world who have come to live on Ngunnawal land. I would like to acknowledge and welcome you all. The tradition of welcoming the people to country is a practice that was handed down by our ancestors, old people and elders from the beginning of time. Before entering another person's country, you would first announce your arrival and not enter until the traditional owner formally welcomed you. The reason for this practice was to protect your spirit whilst in another person's country and also to show respect for the country which you were entering. It's wonderful to see that this practice is now recognised and respected. I guess it's not like entering into someone's home unless you're first invited. The Ngunnawal people, as within all Aboriginal people, have a great heritage that we would like to share with all Australians from every walk of life. As you are aware, Canberra means meeting place. And Canberra has been a place of gathering for many Aboriginal tribes of Australia to come together to deal with important business and also for ceremonial purposes. Our Ngunnawal ancestors believe in the importance of people gathering to build relationships, share knowledge and to celebrate the gift of heritage and history. We believe it's important for all to recognise our unique history and to gain an understanding that our land is our heritage and how loss of the lands has disconnected so many Aboriginal people from their spiritual links, cultural heritage and identity. Reconciliation is not just a word, it is an action. And it's a human rights movement. As an Aboriginal person in this country, I've only been counted as a human being for 58 years. Let me repeat this while this sinks in. I, as a beautiful black woman in Australia, have only been counted as a human being for 58 years. I'm only 44. We are very young in our reconciliation journey here in Australia, but we're on the right path. By incorporating proper cultural protocols like welcome to country, smoking ceremonies, didgeridoo playing, etc., we are on the road to true reconciliation. It does still hurt me though that my dad was born a tree, that my grandmother was a mother in this country before she was a human being. So I ask you all to take a moment and think about how old you are, how old your elders are, and how old your children are, and what you're doing to contribute to that reconciliation human rights movement. The referendum that happened a few years ago was another huge milestone in our reconciliation journey. Not the result that we wanted, but it did bring a lot of truth-telling. Helped us to identify where we have to focus our efforts and what states need the most amount of help. I'm so proud to be a Canberran. I'm proud of my fellow Canberrans for the yes vote here in the ACT. Still a lot of work to be done, but it's a demonstration that the work that my grandmother and many other elders in this community have done towards reconciliation can influence the change that we all want. Remembering that that vote was not a vote for me to be Aboriginal, it was not a vote for me to be a traditional owner, it was a vote to edit a document, and that's what Australia said no to. So we'll recalibrate, we'll reassess, we'll find another way forward to continue to fight for First Nations justice that's going to work for all Australians. I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I want to honour those giants. It is a shared history, so there has to be shared accountability. If we continue to live in shame here in Australia, we are never going to progress forward. I don't want my boys to stand up here in 20, 30 years' time fighting and advocating for the same things that I am today, that my grandmother's done for the past 60 years, my ancestors for the past 200 years. That change happens with us. So I encourage you all to continue to have those conversations, have those awkward discussions where learning and understanding, which is what true reconciliation actually is, lies. It lies in a simple yarn. I feel particularly honoured to be here to be able to welcome you to country for this event. Congratulations to all the award nominees and the recipients. For those that don't know, I'm a kin carer for 9 teenagers. I didn't stutter, I said 9, hence the grey hair at 44. But over my time as a kinship carer, I've cared for about 20 children. And so, you know, children's books have been a huge part of my family and our journey. So thank you to all the authors, thank you to everybody that's involved, and it's great to see that these awards can happen and recognise the efforts that we put in to help our kids not only to learn to read, but to understand how things work and how the world works. So in the spirit of reconciliation, on behalf of my grandmother and the Ngunnawal people, Yumalandi Yunanga Yerabu Yungu, which means you may leave footprints on our land now, or in other words, welcome to country. When we speak of footprints, we don't talk about our physical footprint. We speak of the work that we do today for the people to follow tomorrow. The footprint of this organisation, these awards and the books is huge for our future kids. Our kids are our future and we need to look after them. So thank you very much, and just remember that when you walk on the land of the Ngunnawal people, or anywhere in this country, you're walking on the blood of our ancestors. So please tread lightly and treat it with respect. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the event.
Well, good morning everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you on this very special occasion, the announcement of the Children's Book Council of Australia 2025 Book of the Year Awards. I'm Jo Pankridge, I'm the National Chair of CBCA. And how fitting it is that we gather here in this magnificent space, the National Library of Australia, a place that embodies our collective reverence for books, for reading and for storytelling. This is our 80th year as an organisation dedicated to children's literature, and we could not have chosen a more symbolic setting. And we do thank the National Library most sincerely for allowing us to be here today. As we reflect on our past and look to the future, we acknowledge the original storytellers of this land, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, who have shared their stories for tens of thousands of years. Their traditions have laid the foundation for the diverse and vibrant literary landscape we honour and celebrate today. It is my great privilege to warmly welcome our patron, Her Excellency, the Honourable Ms Sam Mostyn AC, Governor-General of Australia. Your presence today reaffirms the importance of literature in shaping the intellectual, emotional and ethical lives of our young people. Thank you sincerely for your support in building a national culture that values and promotes reading from the very earliest ages. We also warmly welcome Ms Alicia Payne, MP, attending on behalf of Prime Minister the Honourable Anthony Albanese and the Minister for Education, the Honourable Jason Clare. Mr Luke Hickey, Assistant Director General of Engagement at the National Library of Australia, who is here on behalf of Dr Marie-Louise Ayres, Director General. Ms Emily Martin, Acting CEO of the Royal Australian Mint, Dr Belle Alderman, Director of the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature. And I also extend my welcome to the many creators, their families, publishers, educators, librarians, our 2025 CBCA judges and our shadow judges, and all the reading advocates joining us here, both in this room and beyond. Because today we celebrate not only the books themselves, but the extraordinary talent and creative insight of our shortlisted authors and illustrators. They are the dreamers, the truth tellers, and the nurturers of wonder. They draw and write with honesty, imagination, and so much talent. Their work stretches the boundaries of what children's literature can be, and its impact is quite profound. These creators help share our children's thinking, their sense of justice, and their understanding of themselves and others. And we're deeply grateful for this work. We also acknowledge the publishers, from the large to the stoically independent, who take risks, champion diverse voices, and bring these powerful stories into the hands of our young readers. Their commitment to quality literature is acknowledged by the CBCA, and they sit proudly behind every book that we celebrate today. From the beautifully crafted picture books, the thought-provoking narratives, and the informative titles. But this ecosystem can't thrive on creative excellence alone. It needs support at every level. From the grassroots, the teachers who weave literature into the daily life of the classroom, the librarians who put the right book in the hands of the right child, and the parents and carers who read aloud and model the absolute joy of reading, to the policymakers and politicians who shape the systems, the funding and the frameworks that make this work possible. We must recognise that investing in children's literature is investing in the future of our children, and indeed our uniquely Australian culture. We live in a time of rapid change, and books are more important than ever. They offer children the tools to read the world. They learn from books not just knowledge, but wisdom. How to act ethically, with compassion, to think deeply and logically, and to connect meaningfully with other people. The CBCA 2025 shortlist reflects these ideals. It mirrors the challenges that young readers are navigating today. So today, we applaud excellence. We honour the stories that shape the lives of our young readers. We also celebrate the immense talent and commitment of our literary community and affirm the shared responsibility to ensure that every child, regardless of background or circumstance, has access to stories that inspire a lifelong love of reading. Thank you all so much for being here today and for your part in this shared vision. I would now like to invite our patron, Her Excellency the Honourable Ms Sam Mostyn, Governor-General of Australia, to speak with us. Thank you again.
Well, good morning, everybody. Just as Selena has asked us to do this morning, to reflect and pay attention to her words, I also acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of this land that we gather on, and as the Children's Book Council reminds us, and has already this morning, the very first storytellers of our region. I also want to acknowledge the families and those with connections to the region, to the ACT and the surrounding territories who have connections here over a long period of time, and also acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. I'll also make a few acknowledgements. We have very important people here. Ms Alicia Payne, MP, Member for Canberra, who is here on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Minister for Education. Ms Angie Bell, Member for Moncrief, on behalf of the Leader of the Opposition. Luke Hickey, who you already know, Assistant Director General Engagement. What a great job to have, as you say, you get the good gigs here at the National Library of Australia. Dr Belle Alderman, ME, Director of the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature. Ms Emily Martin, Acting CEO of the Royal Australian Mint. And of course, Joe Pankridge, the National Chair of the Children's Book Council of Australia. I generally then say distinguished guests, of which you are all. There are a few, though, that I would say a little bit more distinguished today than others, and they've been mentioned. The authors, the illustrators, the creators of the works that may not have even made this list, but those that have certainly made the short list and will be celebrating today. The librarians, as you've already heard from Joe, who put the right books in the right hands at the right time and care so much, so lovingly for those places where often a child will receive a book for the first time. I'm delighted I'm also patron of Libraries Australia, so I have a double win today for both the Children's Book Council and libraries. Thank you. And to the younger people here, the students that are here and the young readers, you are some of our most important people today. These awards are really to celebrate the fact that these are the stories, the words, the pictures that will help shape your lives. And I hope, like I was at your age, that you are a voracious and curious reader and just love all the books we're going to celebrate today. Now, today is a really, really important day for us to be celebrating everything that happens in the awards. The theme of the upcoming Children's Book Week, Book and Adventure, captures it all. It is always an adventure once you put your head into any book. But this week is particularly special because we celebrate 80 years of the Book Council. And you'll see it talks about stories since 1945. Now, the reason I kept you waiting a little bit, I don't like to be late, was that I was up at a place that's telling a very big story today. It's also, today is the 80th anniversary of VP Day, Victory in the Pacific. It was the declaration just a few hours ago, 80 years ago, by then Prime Minister Ben Chifley, that the war was over. It happened 80 years to the day today. And so I was up at the War Memorial with the director there, Matt Anderson, telling a story about why we celebrate today. And it's just so fitting that the Children's Book Council emerges in 1945 at the end of that period as Australia welcomes, I think, some hope and a sense of optimism for the future. So it doesn't surprise me that it was the starting point for the National Children's Book Council. So wonderful to be here today. It is very special for me to honour the brilliant storytelling of Australian authors and illustrators and creators, and to acknowledge this milestone year for you all. It is, of course, just wonderful to simply come here and revel and celebrate in the books and in reading, the act of reading, and to be here in the magnificent National Library of Australia. And like people who love books and writing, I always try to describe the place and role of books and reading in my life and across the lives of others. And of course, you never have the right words. There's never enough words to talk about the place of books. They can be transformative, transporting, transcendent. They can be guides, companions, comforters and motivators. Some books that we have given to us very early in life stay with us forever. My favourite books as a child were, some were not written in Australia. One was by A.A. Milne, and it was Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. But I also loved May Gibbs' Snugglepot and Cuddle Pie, something I'm reminded of whenever I stay at Admiralty House in Sydney, where the Banksia pods that fall and I collect and have on the tables around the house, they were the inspiration for the Banksia men. And so every time I see the Banksia dried pods on the ground, I pick them up and I think of May Gibbs, whose house is just around the corner in Kirribilli, where Snuggle Pot and Cuddle Pie were written and conceived. I also was given a very special book. Again, it wasn't an Australian author, but my dad gave me at age 10 the complete works of Sherlock Holmes or Arthur Conan Doyle. And I read all those short stories as a very young reader and got interested in great literature. And I've always been a great fan of Sherlock Holmes. But reading really defined my life. And as I've said to my daughter, who's now almost 26, I didn't have the great pleasure of reading many Australian authors back then. Those that I did were ones that were fabulous. Today we get to celebrate Australian authors, and most Australian children will be reading predominantly Australian authors, which says so much that has happened, certainly in my 60 years of life, which I celebrate this year. I turned 60, so I'm looking back with fond memories and thinking about my early childhood. Just yesterday, I rang and spoke with my dear friend and celebrated Australian author Anna Funder. We raised our children together, so we often talked about the place of books, but of course she is one of our great authors and writers, thinkers, makes us think about lots of things. And I asked her what her first books were, and they were What Anna Saved and The Bad Child's Book of Beasts, which was an Edwardian cartoon collection. They were both given to her by her mother, and Anna wonders to this day what subconscious messages were being given. But Anna's most recent essay for The Monthly, which she delivered at the recent Sydney Writers' Festival, centres on a very unique experience. I shouldn't say very unique. It's a unique experience. Someone would pick me up on that. A unique experience of an experience she had with a large bear in her very young childhood. And she uses that as a motif in her monthly essay. And she wonders whether it was that Bad Child's Book of Beasts that still retained by her subconsciously that makes its way through her writing today. Certainly she said that it was the books that she was given as a child that meant that she always wanted to write and be an author, and she has done that exceptionally well. I also loved reading to my daughter Lottie when she was very little. Her favourites when she was young included Animalia by Graham Base, and of course Alison Lester's Magic Beach, which she and I can both still recite to this day. I'm sure you could get the cadence of that if I led you in the words. She also loved holding my mother's old copy of Winnie the Pooh, which I had treasured at her age, and she now has as something we pass through our family. Then there are some books we don't expect over the course of our life, but we discover them if we engage in reading. I am always discovering new books, and we're never too old to find new authors, genres, and words that teach us new ideas and take us to new places. And you're never too young to find those new stories and new places. And I have always carried books with me. It's why the team around me always knows I've got a heavy bag wherever I go, because it's always laden with books. And I carry many things with me, and I aim at the moment to fulfil a promise that I would fill the official residences, Government House here in Yarralumla and Admiralty House in Sydney, with books, particularly those written by Australian authors in all forms, fiction, non-fiction, poetry, plays, and picture books, and make sure that when people visit us, they see the place just resplendent with the books that tell our stories. Of course, we'll share this year's Books of the Year in those collections. Now, I did say I carry books with me. I do carry one in particular with me, and I always like to plug our democracy, so I carry the mini Constitution wherever I go. So it makes for great reading, and particularly it explains my role. So if the younger people in the audience or the older people want to learn about me, always carry the Australian Constitution with you. Democracy plug over. I always cherish the books that people give me when I travel around Australia. I do travel a lot. Increasingly, there are books for early readers from First Nations communities, which you heard is so important, particularly from Selena. In my office at Government House, I have in proud display Sea Country and Sky Country, both by Auntie Patsy Cameron and illustrated by Lisa Kennedy. And beautiful picture books by another friend of mine, Adam Goods, who you may know as a footballer, but I now know as an author and a father of almost 4. And his books, Somebody's Land and Walk With Us, sit in those houses as well. Just a few weeks ago, I was really privileged to represent you all in East Arnhem Land, where I presented a posthumous AC to Dr. Yunupingu on Yolngu country with Yolngu ceremony. And I visited their Yirrkala bilingual school. The children there learn 2 ways, 2 languages from the very moment they walk into the school. And they gifted me 2 beautiful picture books published by the Indigenous Literacy Foundation. The same story, one in English, one in Yolngu. They sit proudly in the office as well. And they're part of a growing collection in the books and writing that tell a story of Australia's braided story. beginning with 65,000 years of Indigenous culture and history, continuing with our migrant refugee stories over the past 50, 60 years, and that tell of our strong democratic institutions. All of these things reflect our modern, successful, diverse nation. They're books that help us understand who we are, where we've come from in deep history, and where we might be going. Because there's nothing quite like books for answering those deep human inquiries. And it all begins in childhood. It begins with the magic beach, with My Place, with the green sheep, Grandma Poss, and so many wombats. Children's books are the door into worlds of wonder. Little children begin to marvel at our own world through picture books. And just yesterday, as we also celebrated National Science Week, I spent a couple of hours with young children and their parents in the story corner at Erindale Library, reading aloud about the moon and stars and space to celebrate science. And as I watched the parents and their children, some of them very young, some babies crawling around on the carpet, all surrounded by piles and piles of books and bubbles, it's fair to say, I was right back there with my daughter in the libraries. Socialising and sharing the stories and being a good parent and watching these little kids becoming excited with the prospect of the world. In books, very early, children learn truths, often experiencing empathy by walking around in someone else's skin for a while. That typically happens with a slightly older reader, as Atticus Finch puts it in To Kill a Mockingbird. Our Australian storytellers have given children so much delight and knowledge about our own country, about its extraordinary characters, our complex history, and of course, our natural beauty. Spending time looking at the Book of Year Notables, which I spent some time doing, from which today's shortlist and prize winners will be announced, it's astonishing. 730 entries, 122 books representing 114 writers and 79 illustrators. The breadth and quality of children's literature written by Australians is just so absolutely affirming of us telling stories the way we want to hear them and see them. Last week, the wonderful English children's author Alan Alberg passed away, and the New York Times obituary included this quote from him: "Just because a book is tiny and its readers are little doesn't mean it can't be perfect. On its own scale, it can be as good as Tolstoy or Jane Austen." Today, we are recognising the Austens and Tolstoys of Australian children's literature. We recognise you with joy and great admiration, and above all, with deep gratitude. To all of you who write and illustrate and publish and support books for children, thank you for what you do. Thank you for your care for your craft, care for the sacredness of books and stories, and care for the little hearts and minds just beginning their exploration of life. Thank you for the gift you give all of us, and especially to our children. And thank you to the indefatigable judges who must have had the almost impossible task of choosing winners. Congratulations to all the finalists and to those that will take home some prizes, but everyone who's on this list is a winner, as are all the notables, and I'll be exploring many, many of them in the year ahead. I do look forward to reading as many of these books and sharing these books with children and young people, both in the official residences and wherever I travel. And today I just want to congratulate everyone involved in this wonderful, wonderful day. It's a joy to be here with you. I'm so delighted to be part of this ceremony. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for sharing those memories and for your very knowledgeable words. For 5 years, CBCA has partnered with the Royal Australian Mint to produce a commemorative coin which celebrates Australian children's literature. The Royal Australian Mint is fundamentally aligned with the CBCA ethos of fostering culture, stories, language and literacy. And this is reflected in the CBCA's purpose, which is to enrich young lives through Australian stories. This partnership program has enabled the Mint and the CBCA to reach out to new and existing audiences by highlighting the value and appeal of Australian coins and relating them to quality Australian children's literature. Now, I know, Emily, that recently you launched a coin from the cabin of a steam train. at Sydney Central Station to mark the launch of the Royal Australian Mint's latest coin collection, Steam Giants, Australian Rail Heritage. That must have been very special. I'm hoping that the enthusiasm our audience brings to your special launch here today can compete favourably with that. Now it's over to Emily Martin, Deputy CEO of the Royal Australian Mint, to reveal the 5th book and coin of the Mint's Australian Children's Literature Program.
Thank you very much and good morning. I would also like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on. And as many have already acknowledged today, the original storytellers of our region. I would also like to acknowledge the Governor-General, Her Excellency, the Honourable Ms Sam Mostyn, AC. I'd like to thank Luke Hickey for welcoming me here today, and I'd also like to acknowledge Joe Pankridge, Children's Book Council Australia Chair. And particularly a warm welcome to Dick Ruffsey's family here today. His daughters, Annette Tresice and Victoria, as well as Matthew and Chris Noonan. I will just briefly mention that train carriage I was in the other week. It is absolutely wonderful to be here today. I can tell you that a steam train, the front carriage, is a really hot place to be. So already I feel more comfortable here today because I don't have some burning coal right next to me. So that's fantastic. I too would like to reflect that I love children's books, and as a parent, they have been so important to me, reading those stories to my 3 children as they've grown up. Now, my eldest is now 18, so not so keen to sit down and read a story with me, but my 12-year-old will still curl up and listen to a story, which is lovely. One of our particular favourites was Where is the Green Sheep? And like many of you, I can recite that book probably from start to finish, as well as all the other sheep characters that we introduced as a family, as I'm sure many of you did. The Royal Australian Mint is one of Australia's storytellers. We aim to capture the nation's history, culture and spirit in every coin we create. The Children's Book Council of Australia enriches young lives through Australian stories. This is a partnership that celebrates Australian stories. This partnership with the Children's Book Council of Australia began in 2021 when we launched the Mint's Australian Children's Literature Program, helping both organisations to reach new audiences by highlighting the value and appeal of coins and relating them to Australian children's classics. The first coin in the series, released as part of National Children's Book Week, celebrated Graham Bass's Animalia. It was a huge success that engaged children and their families right across the country. Each year, it was followed by another coin and book: Diary of a Wombat in 2022, Edward the Emu in 2023, and of course, Where is the Green Sheep just last year. This year, I'm delighted to announce The Rainbow Serpent, written and illustrated by Dick Ruffsey as the 5th release in the series. Dick Ruffsey was a Lardil man from Mornington Island in Queensland. His first paintings were on bark using the traditional pigments from soil and black from charcoal. After committing them to paper, he began to create children's books, including The Rainbow Serpent. Celebrating the Rainbow Serpent, rock art that first appeared in Arnhem Land at least 6,000 years ago. Ruffsey's book remains a powerful piece of storytelling to this day. At the heart of the Mint's Australian Children's Literature Program is a 20-cent coin. Small enough, the real one, to be held in the palm of your hand, but large enough to tell a story that sparks a great deal of curiosity and wonder, especially among children. This coin program has become a fun way to encourage children to read and to try Australia's most popular collecting hobby, which is coin collecting. There's a special kind of joy that comes from reading. With each one of our coin releases, children have been experiencing that thrill of discovery. These books have been part of decades of story time, and celebrating these anniversaries has given parents, grandparents and carers the opportunity to introduce new readers to these books. We have a special way of sharing these memories through these beautiful coins. So whether it's learning about the world through a coin's history or diving into the pages of a specially designed book, this program has become a beloved tradition for children and families alike. The joy of reading paired with the thrill of collecting has a lasting impact, creating not just collectors but curious, imaginative minds excited to learn and to explore. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, and to the Mint for their support. And good luck with your adventures for this year's coin, getting it out there, and it'll be appealing to readers and to coin collectors. In the audience today, we have some relatives of Dick Ruffsey. Could they please stand up and just wave around a bit? I know you're here. Don't be embarrassed. They're here. They don't want to get up. Come on. Yeah, there they are. Thank you so much. These people have travelled a long way to be here today. We're very, very grateful that you chose to come here all this way. We have somebody who'd like to say a few words.
I'm Krishna and I'm married to Victoria Trezise, who is Percy Trezise's daughter, and Annette is here, and she's Annette Trezise, Percy's daughter. And Percy was...
Would you like to come up here so everyone can hear?
Percy was welcomed into the tribe at Mornington Island as a brother of Dick, as a result of their collaboration over 20 years in terms of rock art and cake building. And the girls would go with Percy and they'd go with Dick and they would be there. But I don't think anyone's come from Mornington Island, and I think it's just something that needs to be noted that Dick was the author of this book, collaborated with Percy on a whole lot of children's picture books, and we just want the record to be right. And we're lucky to be here because we've got a car and we can drive from Brisbane. The people from Mornington Island aren't so.
Thank you very much indeed. And you'll notice there are some young people in the audience looking very smart in school uniform. They're here because they are part of shadow judging. Shadow judging is a big part of the year for many children across Australia. Teachers and teacher librarians have been involved developing a great community for the children to judge the books just like the grown-ups do. I'd like to welcome some of our shadow judges to present to you.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Mullins from Palmerston District Primary School and a shadow judger this year. The CBCA has enriched the lives of young people through Australian stories for over 80 years. This is especially recognised in the Shadow Judging Book of the Year program. Although the program is only 4 years old, there were over 400 groups of students at schools, in libraries and in community groups that discussed, debated and engaged with the CBCA 2025 shortlisted books. Young people from around Australia have read the shortlist, judged them against the official criteria and submitted amazing creative responses, from feeling wheels, Tooth Fairy villages, which is what we did at Palmerston, and even book trailers. Some of these students also submitted their book trailers to the New South Wales Collide competition. Let's hear from those judges now.
Hello, my name is Nathan Luff. I'm the author of these books, amongst others, and I just want to say on behalf of the other judges, what an absolute pleasure it was to judge the Collide book trailer competition this year. That's the competition where students may choose a book from the notable list and create a book trailer to go with that book. Now, as judges, we were looking for trailers that were captivating, that captured the tone of the book and also gave us a sense of what the book was about, but ultimately, we were looking for trailers that left us wanting more. Now, it was a really difficult decision. There were some excellent trailers this year, so I'm going to cross over to the judges to announce the first place, the runner-ups, and the highly commended.
Hello, I'm author Alexa Moses. I've written the Twinning series and the Michaela Mason's Worries books, and I'm here to present the Year 3 and 4 category. So in third place, highly commended, is Rose from Burke Street Public School with her trailer for Real Pigeons. We thought this was fun, it was punchy, and it showed the story. It gave us a real sense of what the book was going to be about. The runners-up in second place were Piper, Willow, Lee, Grace and Amali from Toukley Public School with their trailer for The Night Watch. We really loved the use of the soundscape, the moody tone. The trailer really showed the passage of time and gave us a sense of the story, and there was a lovely use of 2D animation. Congratulations, guys. And the winners in first place were April, Charlotte, Elaine, Elijah and Fletcher from Redham House, North Shore with their trailer for Tooth Fairy. All of it, the judges agreed. This was funny, it was fresh, we loved the storytelling, and there was a great use of visual effects. Congratulations.
Introducing everything you ever wanted to know about the Tooth Fairy, and some things you didn't. A perfect pick for curious kids, fairy believers, and anyone who's ever tucked a tooth under their pillow. Is there just one Tooth Fairy, or could there be an entire world of them? Step into a magical land where tiny collectors work around the clock, each with their own quirks, secrets and surprising habits. From their favourite tricks to their mysterious tooth-keeping traditions, this book uncovers the fascinating lives of tooth fairies everywhere. Written by Bryony Stewart, brought to life with delightful illustrations and published by Lothian Children's Books, Hachette.
Hi there, my name is Deborah Abella and I am the author of these books here. My latest books are The Kindness Project, The Book of Wondrous Possibilities, and I have a new picture book called No More Room in the Bed. And it is my privilege and pleasure to announce the winners in the Year 5-6 category for the Collide Book Trailer Competition. Very exciting. Now, this was really tough to judge this one because there were so many brilliant trailers, but we have come up with our top 3. So I'm going to start with the highly commended first. So, in the highly commended place, we have Saketh, Arthav, Prithvi, Raj and Ravi from Wentworthville Public School, woohoo, for their trailer of Real Pigeons by Andrew McDonald and Ben Wood. This was super fun. There was great music and graphics and they they both matched like the energetic kind of pace of this book. It not only told us about these butt-kicking, crime-fighting pigeons, but it also gave us a teaser about the story and why we should read it. This was just fun and fantastic, just like the book. Now, in second place, the runners-up category for the Year 5-6 section. Ready? It is Evangeline from William Clark College for her beautiful trailer, Then and Now by Datsun Tran. This was such a moving, poignant trailer. We loved the tone of it that was beautifully created with the use of music, images from the book, and really cleverly written script. It was just lovely. It was such a moving portrayal of the book, which is about the trials and fears of refugees leaving their country for another. Unique, powerful, we just loved it. And now, in first place of the Year 5-6 category, the winner is from William Clark College, Ivy and Anastasia for Worms Are Our Friends by Tony Dahlia and Mimi Purnell. Now, this, like, who doesn't like an animated worm? But not only did we get animated worms, we got animated birds flying and flowers growing. It was super, super clever. There are simple but fun graphics and a really great use of text to tell us what the story is about. But the whole trailer itself with the music and everything created a really positive vibe, which also matched the book, of course, which is about the positive work that worms do in our lives. So congratulations to everyone who entered the Collide competition. Thank you so much. They were all a complete treat.
Hi, I'm Tristan Banks. I'm the author of Two Wolves and Scartown and Detention, and I wanted to share with you the winner of the Year 7 to 9 category and the runner-up. The runner-up is Mia, Olivia and Mia with My Family and Other Suspects. I love the energy that's been put into this trailer, the performances, the use of lighting and shadow, the creepy old house that was scouted. It really brings the book to life. I also love the use of the book at the end. I think, you should probably go and make the feature film of this book. So well done, you're the runners-up. And the Truck Cat is the winner of the Year 7 to 9 category. Lucinda, you did a great job. It's beautiful, these steady backgrounds that give you a good sense of the illustration in the book, as well as some subtle animation. Really nice voiceover. It makes me want to read the book. And it's technically really strong, but also very good storytelling. So congratulations to all of you.
Some cats are house cats. Some cats are apartment cats. Some cats live on farms. Some cats live in the city. But Tinker was a truck cat. He mostly lived in the cabin of Jacob's truck. He sat on the passenger seat, keeping an eye out for interlopers. Other humans didn't understand Jacob. They didn't get his jokes. They didn't understand his words or his silences. Only Tinker did. But Tinker could get distracted. Will Tinker and Jacob ever find each other? Find out in The Truck Cat. Written by Deborah Frankel, illustrated by Denny Snell, and published by Bright Light.
honestly, I wanted to see all of them. Young people from around Australia debated each category shortlist and as a group selected their winner. We have all loved talking with our friends about the books, and today we have 12 representatives of shadow judging schools from around the ACT to tell you about the older readers and younger readers shortlists. The CBCA Book of the Year for Older Readers was first awarded as a separate category in 1982. We are going to hear more about the 2025 Older Readers shortlist title from Miller, Isla, Mairead, Benjamin, Isabel, and Anna.
Hello all, I'm Mila and I attend Canberra Grammar School and have had the pleasure of reading Birdie by Sharon Curnow, published by the Text Publishing Company. Birdie was an emotive and heartwarming story of a young selectively mute girl, Maddie, as a result of trauma in her life. Maddie was a relatable and incredibly well thought out character. During the book, the verse writing style gave a lyrical and poetic air to Maddie's character, which perfectly encapsulates her multifaceted personality. Maddie meets Alice while taking time away from her life in the city. Alice is hidden away as a result of the loss of her husband and the disappearance of her beloved daughter. Alice is pained and lonely as a character whose heartache I felt right as my own. I found Maddie an incredibly relatable. She understood the pain of embarrassment and how something in the past can have a long-lasting impact on your future selves. I would recommend this book to anyone. The storyline would resonate with an expansive audience, yet if I were to choose a specific audience, I would suggest it to someone who is currently experiencing or has previously experienced issues with confidence. It highlights how even the most debilitating experiences can be overcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isla and I'm from Canberra Grammar School. I have had the pleasure of reviewing A Wreck of Seabirds by Collier Olson, published by Fremantle Press. This book was amazing. It is definitely one of the best books I've read this year. Even when I didn't have it in my hands, it was lingering in the back of my mind. In every chapter, Collier Olson proved the power of her writing, making it hard to believe that this was her debut novel. The words on the pages easily transports the reader into the book and to the ocean. You can smell the sea and feel the cold water on every page. It's as if there was salt in my blood linking me to the sea. Everything felt so real, from the haunting of the shallows to the sadness of the deep and to the grief of the shore. The story, cut into 3 discerning narratives, all fit well together. I loved reading this and thinking about how each story was connected and how the past affected the present. This book was a great example of people being brought together by loss and heartache. Bryony and Ren are both realistic characters and that have grappled with grief, and their relationship was definitely an anchor for the rest of the story. I loved everything about this book, from the mystery of the island to the emotions of the beach. This book left me wondering what other secrets the sea holds and how deep do they really go. Thank you.
My name is Mairead and I'm from Canberra Grammar School. Today I'm here to share my review of Comes the Night by Isabel Carmody, published by Allen & Unwin in 2024. The setting of the book really stood out to me, as it is set in a futuristic version of Canberra, making it seem familiar, and the richness of the world building throughout really captivated me. It was very interesting to see a future Canberra through Carmody's eyes. The character in Comes the Night are one of the main reasons the story stayed with me. Will, the protagonist, is brave but also vulnerable, and we see him make mistakes and question himself, which made me really care about his journey. His friendship with Ender is a highlight because they challenge each other, argue, and yet stand by each other when it matters most. Ender brings humour and lightness to the story, which balances Will's more serious moments. The side characters also feel important, as each one seems to have their own story and purpose, making the world feel alive. Even characters who appear briefly show different kinds of strength, from emotional resilience to small acts of kindness. Overall, Comes the Night was an engaging and memorable read that surprised me in the best way. It showed me the power of stepping outside my reading comfort zone and introduced me to a world and characters I will not soon forget. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Benjamin Porter, and I had the pleasure of reading I'm Not Really Here by Gary Lonesborough, who I'm also very grateful is here today. This book, there's a lot I can say about this book. I generally do not read young adult fiction. I like my Proust and my Kafka. And I went into this thinking, oh, I don't know if I'll like this, but I sat down, I read it. It is an absolute page-turner with a heartwarming story. It portrayed the small town of Patience really well, and it made me think about my experiences because I come from a small town. And when I just heard him describe that setting, it really brought to life, and it made me think of my own experiences, even down to the footy team that they have. It reminded me of my town's young footy team. And just the whole story of Jonah, I'm not a very similar person to the main character, Jonah, but I felt like I could really get inside his head and go through what he was thinking, what he was doing. The book was very honest and it was very beautiful. And it got me thinking, because before I picked up this book, I don't think I had ever thought that much about the idea of the First Nations LGBTQI community. And I think it's really important that all Australians are represented, and this book is a great tool for getting more groups into young readers' minds, and I just think it was purely wonderful. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Isabel from St Mary MacKillop College, and I had the pleasure of reading Into the Mouth of the Wolf by Erin Goff. This book blended together genres of mystery, dystopia, romance, and action into a very unique, captivating story that was quite enjoyable. The book touches on big topics like climate change, identity, and relationships, and does a great job of including representation with many queer and culturally diverse characters. Essentially, the book follows the main protagonists, Iris and Lena, as they search for Iris's missing mother and the many truths being kept hidden around her. We follow the two girls as they are battling the effects of an over-polluted and overheated world created by corporate ignorance. Additionally, they have challenges in their own personal lives, as Iris has to grapple with the loss of her mother and her parents, and her life moving onwards, while Lena has to navigate her friendships and relationships with her parents and figure out what she really wants to do in her life while falling for a girl that she barely knows. So much happened in this book, and it kept me engaged the whole time. And I really loved how the issues of climate change were very realistic, and it explored the possibilities of what could happen if it got worse. I also loved the characters and were able to connect with them as they were very vulnerable and realistic, dealing with personal problems and relationship problems that I myself and many other people my age have definitely dealt with. Overall, it was a wonderful book that I would definitely recommend to everyone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna and I go to St Mary MacKillop College today. I will be speaking about The Skin I'm In by Stephanie Tisdale, published by UQP. The novel follows Layla, a 17-year-old First Nations teenager in her final year of high school, and she has big dreams, an Aboriginal mother with a white father, and a skill for keeping her life neatly in control. When her cousin, Marley, moves in, her world begins to shake out of control. Marley's deep connection to culture challenges Layla to face her own identity, her friendships, and the subtle racism she's ignored for too long. What I loved as part of this book was Layla's voice. It's sharp, funny, and brutally honest. Stephanie Tisdale mixes humour with serious themes like racism, cultural expectations, mental health, and family in a way that feels real and never preachy. This book stood out because it's so unapologetically Australian, with characters who feel like people you've met, and it gives a First Nations perspective which we don't see enough in young adult fiction. By the end, I felt like I'd grown alongside Layla. I'd recommend this book to anyone in high school who's ever wondered where they fit in or who loves a story that's both hilarious and heart-hitting. Thank you.
The Younger Readers category was originally known as the Junior Book of the Year until 1987. It is now one of the biggest categories for entries. This category, for readers aged 7 to 12, was reviewed by Charlie,
Audrey, Riley, Saskia, Lila, and Hannah.
Hello, my name is Charlie. I'm from St Matthew's Primary School and I'm reviewing Tig and the Bandicoot Bushranger, written by Jackie French and published by HarperCollins Publishers. Following themes of courage, strength and perseverance, Tig and the Bandicoot Bushranger touched me deeply. Tig has faced many challenges, from disguising herself to look like a boy to learning how to be a proper lady and to find her family. I love Tig as a character. She is full of bravery, energy and resilience. When reading this book, I felt like I was watching everything play out from her eyes. I could relate to Tig with something as simple as being a girl or living in Australia to trying to find out who I am or want to be. Although the story ended happily, I would have liked to know how Tig was adjusting to her new home. In this book, I learnt about Tig's past and what was in store for her future through an amazing adventure. I recommend this book to 10 to 13-year-olds looking for an adventure.
Hi, my name is Audrey and I'm from St Matthew's Primary School. I'm going to be reviewing Laughter is the Best Ending, written by Marianne Master, illustrated by Astrid Hicks and published by Pan Macmillan. From the very first page to the final full stop, I was hooked, guessing what would happen next. Themes of friendship, mystery and courage are explored with heaps of comedy. The story follows Z, Tiff, Jonah and Moses at the Camp Youth Fusion, but suddenly a fellow campmate goes missing during a game. One of my favourite things was how it came from the main character, Z's, perspective, so it feels like she is telling me the story right as it happens. Through this, I got to learn more about her and soon enough I could picture myself in her shoes. I loved how it was unique and different from other books. There was also a hilarious twist that you will not see coming. The beautiful illustrations perfectly captured the emotions and humour of the story. I highly recommend Laughter is the Best Ending for kids aged 10 plus or anyone who likes a good laugh, because laughter really is the best ending. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Riley and I have been given the opportunity to review Saskia's Sparkly Fundraiser Fail, written by Rebecca Sharp-Shelberg, illustrated by Sophia Carmazina and published by Walker Books. This story taught me that there is no I in team, as Saskia realised she needed the help of others, and I know I will work better in the future with friends by my side. Reading about Saskia's fundraising attempts made me remember the bake sales we've had at school to raise money for the ISPCA. This story is enhanced by Sophia Carmazina's illustrations showing ups and downs of Saskia Sparkly's life. Her engaging illustrations went perfectly with the text and helped to bring the story to life. I'd recommend this book for 7 to 10-year-olds with funny moments and wonderful pictures. I think that these lyrics from Michael Jackson are very fitting for this book. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change, as Saskia tries to make her world a better place. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Saskia and I go to St Monica's Primary School. Today I am reviewing To and Fro, written by Anton Clifford Matopi and published by Allen and Unwin Australia. This hilariously funny middle grade novel follows Sam, a mixed-race 12-year-old boy who has never met his dad. When they finally connect, Sam embarks on a mission to explore his South African heritage and more deeply understand his identity, a journey that is easily relatable to many. Sam's inner conflict shows as he struggles to understand why he feels black on the inside despite his lighter skin tone. Clifford Matopi sensitively portrays Sam's navigation of cultural identity, family, and self-acceptance. Through Sam's eyes, we see the confusion and misunderstanding of a kid trying to match his appearance to his culture. His desire to belong and understand his roots is both heartwarming and relatable. The laugh-out-loud humour in the story definitely softens the load of the deeper themes in the core of the novel. Overall, the novel To and Fro is an amazing book that I would recommend to anyone of any age. It is an easily relatable and exciting story that leaves you always wanting more. Hard to put down and heartbreaking to finish, the children's novel To and Fro is an excellent read that nobody could dislike.
Good morning, my name is Lila and I'm from St Monica's Primary School, here to talk to you about Fluff Mess Up by Matt Stanton, published by HarperCollins Publishers. Do you like to laugh? And I mean really laugh? Well, I hope so, because this book is mega funny. Gilbert and his best friend Fluff the Bunny are on another crazy adventure in this hilarious book. Gilbert and Fluff live in a caravan with Gilbert's mum and sister. In the beginning, they decide it's a good idea to have a giant food fight until Mum gets out of the shower and goes from confused to mad because it's such a mess. So they're stuck with cleaning, but then Fluff finds a cleaning company to help clean the caravan. When Gilbert and Fluff can't pay, Fluff has a brilliant plan to start their own cleaning company. This is when things start to go wrong. They're out of control. They get richer and richer, but forget to clean their own mess and pay their own bill. After a crazy day with jumbo jets, a wild chase through the park, Fluff ends up stuck in a slide. There are so many twists and turns and funny things in this story that before you know it, you're at the end of the book. I loved meeting Gilbert and Fluff and couldn't put this book down. It made me want to find the other Fluff books so I could keep reading. I rate Fluff Mess Up 5 out of 5, and if you like to laugh, then I definitely recommend this book for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah and I'm from St Monica's Primary School. Today, I'll be recommending a wonderful book, Aggie Flea Steals a Show, an amazing story by Tanya Ingram, an Australian best-selling author and published by Scholastic Australia. This is an amusing and heartwarming book about a young girl with divorced parents who is determined to make her school play as perfect as possible. Even with a few mishaps, like when she ruined her best friend Kumi's space pineapple, or when her rival Zara Miller auditioned for the same role as her in the play, she still kept her lively and energetic personality. This book relates to many people, maybe even some of us here today. Some people are naturally lively and energetic like Aggie, while others have a big imagination. That's how I personally relate to her. Some people also share her passion for certain books or roles. My favourite part is when Princess Zombie says, "Being myself is good enough for me." It is a motivational reminder to people everywhere to stay true to themselves. My favourite character is definitely Aggie, because she shows us that no matter what kind of situation we are in, we can always find a way to fix things with pride. I will recommend this book to anyone because it is filled with mixed emotions and inspiring messages. Overall, I truly loved reading Aggie Flea Steals a Show and would hope others loved it as much as I did. Thank you.
Those reviews and trailers have inspired me to buy more books. Don't tell my husband. I'm Justine Power, the Awards Foundation Manager. Many of you will know Margaret Hamilton, the founder of the Awards Foundation, along with June Smith. When she asked me to take on the role of the Awards Foundation manager, I'm not sure I fully understood the size of the boots I needed to fill. But Margaret would tell anyone who asked about the CBCA Book of the Year Awards how the original prize for the Children's Book of the Year Awards was a camellia if the winner was a female, or a handshake if you were male. Some government funding supported the awards for some time, between 1966 and 1988, and this was followed by some commercial sponsorship, which made it possible to offer substantial monetary prizes, sort of. The challenge to secure commercial sponsorship for the awards prize money led to a decision at the end of 1995 to set up the Awards Foundation with the aim of raising $1 million. The $1 million goal was reached in 2005 through the support of many, many, many donors. The investment fund is now nearly $2 million, and therefore the Awards Foundation can continue to provide the prize money for the annual CBCA Book of the Year Awards through return on investments, preserving the capital donations received. Over the years, several fundraising campaigns were established to recognise and remember special people in the children's literature community. The support for the foundation has been amazing, and thanks to all who have made contributions, both small and large. It is the community of the Children's Book Council for 80 years which enables us to provide financial prizes to the winners and honour books. As Margaret used to say, our prizes may not be the richest, that goes to the PM's awards, but we are the most influential, with over 400 groups participating in the shadow judging program and needing to purchase the books to read. The Children's Book of the Year Awards continue to support the creators in the industry of the Australian books. And now I have the privilege of hitting the button to see who the winners are.
The islands of Biblio was first discovered 80 years ago. In 2025, it is a utopia for book-loving creatures.
As we step off to discover this land of adventure, we need to acknowledge the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri people as they are the traditional custodians of the Canberra region. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and CBCA particularly honours, celebrates and supports their connection to the land, sea and community, as well as their culture as the first storytellers of this great land.
We are here today at the National Library of Australia to discover one of the greatest book adventures of the year. The Children's Book Council of Australia has been proudly promoting quality Australian literature for 80 years. Join us as we explore the shadow judging winners and the CBCA Book of the Year Honour and Winner books. Hi, I'm Sophia, and this is Ruben, Olivia and Alex, and we are students from the Canberra region who have been participating in the shadow judging for 2025. We used the same criteria as the adult CBCA judges and spoke to all of our friends to get their perspectives to collate our final vote.
Before we start to discover the land of Biblio and find out who are this year's winners, let's remember the books that have wowed the judges and have become part of our shortlist for 2025.
The shortlist for older readers, a favourite of Cal the Giant Squid. Comes the Night. Into the Mouth of the Wolf. Birdie. I'm Not Really Here. A Wreck of Seabirds. The Skin I'm In.
Here is the shortlist for younger readers, aged 7 to 12. Is a favourite of Otso the Bear. Aggie Flea Steals the Show. Fluff, Mess Up. Laughter is the Best Ending. Saskia Spark Lee, Fundraiser Fail. Tig and the Bandicoot Bushranger. To and Fro.
Here's the early childhood shortlist. Don't worry, Felix. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Tooth Fairy, and some things you didn't. How to move a zoo. One little dung beetle. Spiro. The wobbly bike.
And here's the shortlist for the picture book of the year. Afloat. The Garden of Broken Things. A Leaf Called Grief. These Long-Loved Things. The Truck Cat. We Live in a Bus.
Here's the shortlist for the Eve Powell Award. Always Was, Always Will Be. Design and Building on Country. Flora, Australia's Most Curious Plants. I Am a Magpie, I Am a Currawong. Making the Shrine, Stories from Victoria's War Memorial. South with the Seabirds.
Here's the shortlist for the New Illustrator Award. A Teaspoon of Light. Digger Digs Down. Grow Big Little Seed. Peekaboo Lottie. Raymond Girapu Dalu, When I Was a Little Girl. The Land Recalls You. The students of Australia have voted, with over 380 schools participating for their choice in the best book of 2025. So, we are off in search of Cal the Giant Squid to find out who is the Shadow Judging winner for older readers in 2025. The Shadow Judging older readers winner is Birdie by Sharon Curnow, published by Text Publishing.
Well, that was an exciting adventure, and thankfully, we didn't get too wet. Now, off to find Otso the Bear, and hopefully he can tell us the winners of the Shadow Judging for younger readers is. Now, where is that bear? The Shadow Judging younger readers winner is Laughter is the Best Ending by Marianne Master, illustrated by Astrid Hicks, published by Pan Australia.
We're here to find out from Ari the Spider who the Shadow Judging early childhood winner is. Let's go, Ari. The early childhood category winner is Spiro by Anna McGregor and published by Scribble.
Well, we didn't get caught in that web, but now we're off to the treehouse, the tallest tree where we can look over the whole of Biblio, which will be the perfect place to find out our Shadow Judging winner for the picture book category. The winner is The Truck Cat by Danny Snell, text by Deborah Frankel, published by Bright Light. We have been almost all over Biblio, and what amazing Shadow Judging winners we have found. For the Eve Pownall Award, I think Delphi the Jarragon might know. The Shadow Judging winner for the Eve Pownall Award was a tie. Flora, Australia's Most Curious Plants by Tanya McCartney, published by NLA Publishing. And South with the Seabirds by Jess McGeechan, published by Allen and Unwin Books for Children and Young Adults. Congratulations to all of the Shadow Judging winners this year, with special thanks to the Copyright Agency's Cultural Fund for supporting the winners. That was a great adventure. Now let's head inside to see what other great books there are. So the students of Australia have voiced their choices, but what did the CBCA judges have to say?
For 79 years, the Children's Book Council of Australia has been celebrating children's literature in Australia as to its quality and its amazing diversity. 730 books have been reviewed by 15 judges who have chosen the honour books and the best books in each category. And now let's continue the adventure. The first category that we're going to deal with today is older readers.
The honour books for older readers in 2025 are Birdie by Sharon Curnow, published by Text Publishing, and
Into the Mouth of the Wolf by Erin Goff, published by Hardy Grant Children's Publishing.
And the older readers winner is I'm Not Really Here by Gary Lonesborough, published by Allen and Unwin. The next category is the younger readers category.
The honour books for the younger readers category for 2025 are Aggie Flea Steals the Show by Tanya Ingram, illustrated by Anne Yee and published by Scholastic Australia. The second honour book is Fluff Mess Up by Matt Stanton, published by ABC Books.
The younger readers winner is Laughter is the Best Ending by Marianne Master, illustrated by Astrid Hicks and published by Pan Australia. The next category is the early childhood.
The honour books in the early childhood category for 2025 are How to Move a Zoo by Kate Simpson, illustrated by Owen Swan, published by Allen and Unwin. The second honour book is One Little Dung Beetle by Rianne Williams, illustrated by Heather Potter and Mark Jackson, published by Wild Dog Books.
The early childhood winner is The Wobbly Bike by Darren McCallum, illustrated by Craig Smith and published by Walker Books Australia. And now it's time for the Picture Book Award.
The honour books in the picture book category for 2025 are Afloat by Freya Blackwood, text by Curly Saunders, published by Little Hare. The second honour book is These Long-Loved Things by Renaud Joy Gosh, text by Josh Pike, published by Scholastic Australia.
And the winner of the Picture Book Award is The Truck Cat, illustrated by Danny Snell, written by Deborah Frankel and published by Bright Light. We now come to the Eve Pownall Information Book Award.
The honour books for the Eve Pownall Award for 2025 are Making the Shrine, Stories from Victoria's War Memorial by Laura J. Carroll, published by the Crossley Press. And the second honour book is South with the Seabirds by Jess McEachin, published by Allen and Unwin.
And the winner of the Eve Pownall Award is Always Was, Always Will Be by Auntie Faye Muir and Sue Lawson, published by Magabala Books. And now we come to the last of the awards. This is the CBCA New Illustrators Award. This is an award for first illustrators of children's books. This year, that award goes to Grow Big Little Seed, illustrated by Sarah Capon, text by Beck Nanayakara, and published by Bright Light. Congratulations to all who've been associated with the awards, to the writers, the illustrators, the editors, the publishers, the judges, both young and old, and to all of the readers, and all of you who've been associated with the awards. Congratulations.
This year, the awards were proudly supported by the CBCA Awards Foundation, which provides money for the prizes and medallions for the winning and honour books. And the Shadow Judging Creators Prizes have been proudly supported by the copyright agency Cultural Farm.
Congratulations to all our winners, honours and shadow judging winners. Well, colleagues, we're now at the part of the ceremony where we invite our creators and the publishers, perhaps if they're here, to join us on stage. The winners of those categories that we've acknowledged, for the adult judges, receive a medallion, a certificate. The honour book winners receive their specific certificate as well. And we also want to acknowledge our shortlisted creators. So I'm going to ask them up category by category. My name is Alex Wharton and I'm a volunteer awards co-convener with my colleague here, Marissa Caluzzi, and we've been leading the team of expert judges who some of us are here in the audience today, and we're really delighted to make this really special for our creators, our Austins and our Tolstoys of Australian children's literature. So congratulations. It's my absolute pleasure to ask Her Excellency and our chair to come forward to present the awards, please. I'm going to start off with the older reader category. So please, can the older reader category recipients on the shortlist please come forward? We're looking for Sharon, Erin, Steve from Hardy Grant, Gary and Louise. Please come and grab a seat at the chairs at the front. The way it's going to work, we'll invite them up one by one. They'll receive their acknowledgement. We'll capture a photo. They'll grab their seat, and then we'll do a panel photo before we move on to the younger reader category next. So, congratulations again to our older readers shortlist for 2025. It's our absolute delight now to call up Sharon Curnow, who's the Shadow Judging Older Readers winner for 2025, and also the Honour Book winner. So please, Sharon, congratulate her. We've got a photo. Before Sharon sits down, all of the winners today actually have if they'd like to, respond just with a short message if they feel that they would like to for the winners and the shadow judging winners. Sharon, would you like to say anything?
Oh, hello everyone. I wasn't really expecting to be up here to say anything, but I'd like to say thank you so much to all the judges, the shadow judges. What an amazing job you did. I was just so blown away by all your speeches, so incredible. Yeah, and thank you to the CBCA judges as well. I'm just feeling very overwhelmed at the moment. Thank you to the CBCA. Congratulations on 80 years, and always thank you to my publisher, Text Publishing, and my amazing editor, Jane Pearson. Thank you, and thank you to all the readers and everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. So the shadow judging winners today didn't find out until the awards video, so they may be less prepared for their acceptance speech, but we want to really acknowledge them. It's now our privilege to congratulate our short list for older reader honour recipient number 1, Erin Goff, for Into the Mouth of the Wolf, also perhaps supported by Steve Spargo from Hardy Grant. Let's congratulate Erin. And for our older reader category, shortlist and of course winner for 2025, we congratulate Gary Lonesborough, and also supported by Louise Pearce from Allen & Unwin as publisher. Congratulations. Gary, would you like to say something?
Yeah, likewise, also feeling quite overwhelmed. I guess I first want to just acknowledge and pay my respects to the Ngunnawal people, who are the traditional owners of this land. As a visitor here, I acknowledge the elders past and present. Also want to say a massive congratulations to my fellow shortlistees. I actually met Erin years and years ago when I was just recently signed my first contract, and I was very excited to meet a real writer. And it's really cool to be on a short list with you all these years later. I want to say a massive thank you to my publisher, Allen & Unwin, and Jodie Webster, and my editor, Sophie Splatt and Kate Whitfield. And also I want to say a thank you to the CBCA for all the work that you do for books and for reading. And thank you to the judges. Thank you to my partner, Matthew, who's here, and writing this book, there was a period where I isolated myself for about 2 weeks to finish it, and thank you for putting up with that. Feeling very overwhelmed, and thank you.
So we'll have we're going to invite our creators for one group photo, and then we'll announce the younger reader. So please stand with our patron and with our chair for one photo together. Congratulations again. Our younger reader, we're moving on to our younger reader shortlist panel now. So our younger reader shortlist, please come forward. Anton, if you're here, Rebecca, Tanya, who's here, Astrid and Mariam. So we start off by acknowledging Rebecca as a shortlisted creator and say congratulations to you. Rebecca, please come forward. And now we're going to go to the Shadow Judging Younger Reader for 2025. Congratulations to Mariam Master and Astrid Hicks. Please come forward. They're here as both Shadow Judging winners and, of course, winners for the Younger Reader category overall.
Yes. Okay. Ah, goodness. What an extraordinary honour to be standing here receiving this award, and completely surreal. My heartfelt thanks to the CBCA, an incredible institution filled with brilliant, passionate, dedicated volunteers who have been advocating for children's literature for 80 years, and happy birthday. A shout out especially to the judges who had to read, I think it was 730 books across all the categories, and give each one their love. Thank you. Incredible feat. I'd like to also thank all the wonderful people in the Kid Lit community. Teachers, librarians, booksellers, fellow authors, our talented illustrators, obviously. This is one of the best, most supportive communities ever. A big thank you also to my wonderful agent, who always has my back, the rock star that is Tara Wynne at Curtis Brown, Australia, and all the team at Pan Macmillan, but especially my brilliant, insightful publisher, Claire Craig, who has been instrumental in helping me make each one of my books the best books that they can be. On a personal note, I'd like to thank my husband, James Evans, and my best friend and acclaimed author, Kylie Needham, who are my first readers. These two are the two smartest people I know, and I don't let anything go to my publisher unless it's got the double green tick from those two, so thank you. And finally, I'd like to thank each and every single kid out there who put down their phone and read my book. Thank you. You're amazing. We do what we do because of you, and really overwhelmed to win the Shadow Judging Award also. I always say when I give my talks to schools that I think young people are the most important people in society. I really believe that. It's such an honour to write for you, and it's such a privilege to win this. It's something I'm going to cherish forever. This is the mountaintop. It's all downhill from here. So I'm just going to spend a second and enjoy the view and enjoy this out-of-body experience where I'm looking at my life and not quite believing that the 10-year-old who came here as a refugee and didn't speak a word of English has just won this prestigious award. So it's completely wild and awesome, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And now you'll find out why I draw the pictures and she writes the words. I'm really thankful for this amazing collaboration with Miriam. This is our second illustrated book together, and they just keep on getting wilder and sillier, and people seem to be quite inspired by them, and for that I'm forever thankful. I find her words amazing, and they inspire me and they push me to be a better illustrator, and essentially I spend a lot of time in my studio giggling about things, trying to make her laugh because she's made me laugh with her manuscript. But one of the things I find is drawing is a journey. When you put pencil to paper, you don't really know what comes out, something different every time, and I've been able to live words and lives and the occasional ill-fitted youth camp. And illustrations in young reader books are not just about additional creative element, you know, they're not just decoration, they are about leading that reader through the world. It's not necessarily all about the text, it's about this handshake between the text and the illustration, and they become quite crucial to assist young readers to become better integrated with the book and engaged. And as an illustrator, my role is to ensure words and visuals connect and they're drawn into that story, and that's something that I have a lot of love for, and I just adore drawing for young readers. I feel that they are the smartest, the cleverest, they are design savvy, they just get everything. And every time we've done book groups, we have found that they have found all the Easter eggs that I leave in the illustrations. They have picked up on all the little, the conceptual things that, you know, the adults might just breeze over. They go, but what did you mean by this one little stroke? And I love that, and please keep being creative, keep thinking, keep wanting to eat design for breakfast, because it makes my job the best. So thank you so much. Thank you to the CBCA, the committees, the rural committees, the communities that CBCA forms, the Book of the Year judges, the Shadow Book of the Year judges. Oh my God, that is amazing. Thank you so much. That's the best. That's going straight to the pool room. Claire Craig, our publisher and matchmaker, for her support and vision, and to all the amazing booksellers, the kids' booksellers, the librarians, the teachers and the parents who go on young readers' journeys with them, and to the Australian Kid Lit community, and to Miriam. So thank you so much.
As a part of being a community, a significant community, I'm going to also ask Nicholas, actually, who was our Shadow Judge MC, to come and join us and assist the Governor-General, Her Excellency, and our Chair to also acknowledge some of these creators. Our last creator that we'd particularly like to acknowledge today who's joined us is Tanya Ingram. Tanya is congratulated here as a Younger Reader Shortlist, but also a Younger Reader Honour. And so please, Tanya, come forward, and congratulations to you for Aggie Flea Steals the Show. They're going to get a panel photo together. There we go. And you're on, Mercy. You'll be amazing.
It is my great pleasure now to welcome the early childhood creators that we have with us today. Could you please come forward and take a seat at the front? We have Catherine Huck, Anna McGregor, Kate Simpson, Owen Swan, Louise Pearce, Rianne Williams, Darren McCallum and Craig Smith. And first off, I would like to welcome the winner for the shadow judging for Spiro, Anna McGregor. Anna, would you like to say a word? It's up to you.
Hi everyone, sorry, I do not have a speech prepared. Just love to thank the CBCA and all the judges, and I'd especially love to thank my publisher, Miriam Rosenblum of Scribble, for flying us up here today. It's such a privilege to make books for children, and I'm unbelievably honoured to have to be the winner of the shadow judging. So thank you to all the students who have voted and participated. It was lovely hearing the students' reviews as well. You're all better public speakers than me. So thank you to everyone. It's an honour to be here today.
I'd like to also acknowledge Catherine Huck as a shortlist winner to come forward, please. And in the honour books for this category, we have How to Move a Zoo. We have Kate Simpson and Owen Swan and Louise Pearce, who is from Allen and Unwin. And for One Little Dung Beetle, Rianne Williams, Mark Jackson and Heather Potter. Is that a dung beetle we see there? Oh, it's the poo. Oh, and we even have a surprise dung beetle. Outstanding. And the winner in the early childhood category this year, the wobbly bike, Dara McCallum and Craig Smith.
Likewise, incredibly overwhelming. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners. First of all, I'd like to thank so much the Children's Book Council of Australia for making these incredible awards possible and for your continual support of children's literature in Australia. This is a really pinch yourself moment for me, so I apologise. Thank you to Walker Books for giving the wobbly bike a lovely, warm and welcoming home. I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you to Craig Smith, the amazing Craig Smith, for bringing the wobbly bike to life, and thanks to Craig for his incredible friendship throughout the whole process. It's been lovely. The wobbly bike is about celebrating grandparents and other caregivers whose encouragement and kindness help children to reach their goals. But it's also a shout out to all kids who struggle, like my kids did, to not give up. To not give up, keep trying your personal best, and practice makes progress. And to everyone else who doesn't struggle, just be kind, be inclusive, and be encouraging to those kids who do. Thank you.
I'd like to add to what Darren's almost set up in some ways. So what I've written, what I've prepared. On behalf of Darren and myself, this recognition of the wobbly bike is a wonderful honour. Thank you to the Children's Book Council of Australia. Now, I compliment and congratulate all the creators and storytellers whose books are recognised here today. The wobbly bike was born in Darwin and set in Darwin. The text was worked on at a series of workshops up there over 6 months in 2019. These were run by Johanna Bell and Erica Wagner, or Erica Wagner really, I should get it right. I helped out with regard to illustration. For the workshops, Darren had written this lively, funny scenario. Now, for teaching purposes, I wanted to have a go at it at extending the story through pictures. Now, these workshops up there over 6 months were just so interesting. In effectively 24 different participants, but in all their various personal projects, people were generous and supportive to each other. It's how Erica and I experienced our time in Darwin. Darren's developing text, now with most of a first draft of rough pictures, which I had done, had taken on a life of its own, but it wasn't quite there yet. However, racing along, thank you to Claire Halifax, then at Walker Books, for seeing the potential in our story. While this was going on, a big thanks to Larrakia Elder, Dr. Richie Fijo, for your support and encouragement. Thanks also to Paul Seaton up there for the same encouragement. Now, a big thank you to Melissa, Jazzy, Summer, Darren's family, who have sort of allowed me to take over in some way. The story started out as Summer's story, and at least to some extent still is. Thanks to my own blended and extended family, interesting individuals all, I cherish your support. And lastly, and especially to my companion, Erica Wagner, for too many reasons to list here, except to say that she is inspiring and fun. Thank you.
Could we have all the early childhood category shortlist people and winners and honour book creators come up to the front for a photo? Could we now please have the creators of the picture book category who are here with us today, Josh Pike, Deborah Frankel and Danny Snell, come forward please. And the winner of the Picture Book of the Year Shadow Judging, The Truck Cat by Danny Snell and Deborah Frankel. And also the winner from the Adult Judging Panel.
Hello everyone. I'd firstly like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people and other custodians on whose land we gather today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm very much a visual person. I'm comfortable talking about paintings, illustrations, artists, but less comfortable and less articulate when it comes to talking about writing and writers. However, I can confidently say that I feel Deborah's writing here, and I suspect many others do too. So my first thank you is to Deb for writing a beautiful story about a cat and a human and entrusting it to me. A very special thanks also to our publisher, Hardy Grant, for their trust and support, particularly to Tren Bing and the rest of Team Tinker. It really was a team effort. My thanks also to my agent, Margaret Connolly, who's up there. We've been together for about 6 years, but we finally met last night, and that was really lovely. Finally met in person, I should say. And to my family back in Adelaide, as well as the South Australian creative community, many thanks. And last but not least, my heartfelt thanks to the CBCA for 80 years of advocacy, for 80 years of sharing Australian stories with children, and for this wonderful honour. Thank you so much.
Well, Danny, I think that was pretty articulate. So I probably could just say ditto, but I think that would be a bit of a cop-out. So I do have something to say too. This is incredibly full-on, especially for me. I regard myself as a reasonably new member of the Kidlet community. So thank you, CBCA, and not just for this honour, but also for everything you've done over 80 years for children's literature in Australia. Happy birthday. You're looking absolutely great for your age. It's really humbling that you've chosen the Truck Cat for Picture Book of the Year. To the judges who read all those hundreds of entries, you are absolute machines, and I don't know how you do it. To our fellow shortlistees, you are all creators I admire so much. I would probably even say I fangirl over you. And it's such an honour that our book is alongside yours in this category. Hardy Grant, the entire team at Hardy Grant who made this book happen, you guys are amazing. First of all, there was Rebecca, who signed up the manuscript after I gave an extremely nervous 3-minute pitch at an Australian Society of Authors speed pitching event, which felt a lot like how I'm feeling right now in terms of heart rate. And then most especially to the absolute dream team of Tren and Luna and Pooja, whose talents and vision are simply staggering. Aside from Tinker the Cat, you guys really are the true heroes of this book. And of course, Danny, I could make this really awkward and even more stressful, but I won't. But the short version is, you guys, you're absolutely amazing. It's not just your talent, which is incredible, but also your wisdom and your kindness that shines through both on and off the page. I'm really lucky to have gotten to collaborate with you. And finally, to the kids, our readers, most importantly, as well as teachers and librarians and booksellers, but most importantly, the kids. I was so impressed by that shadow judging. Keep reading, keep imagining, because if anything is true, it's that empathy will be your superpower. To me, in short, The Truck Cat is really a story about connection. And I wrote its first words back in 2021, which looking back feels like quite a different time, probably a less fractured time. And since then, I've really come to appreciate the power of words and books in reminding us that what we share as people or cats is more important than our differences, despite what media or social media might have you believe. And reaching out with imagination and empathy is the most profound adventure of all. And last but not least, to my family, Jared, Mickey, Raf, and of course our cat Tonka. Tonka, if you're watching this, I know you're hungry. You're always hungry. I promise it will be food time pretty soon. Thanks.
And I'm very pleased to say we have Josh Pike here today, who is one of our creators of the honour book, These Long-Loved Things. Congratulations, Josh. Could we have the Truck Cat creators back up for a group shot, please?
And with our final two categories is Eve Pownell, followed by the new illustrator. I'm going to ask Bridget, Tanya, Laura, Louise, and also Sue and Auntie Faye to come forward, please, and take your seats on our at the front. Okay, it's an absolute delight to acknowledge these shortlisted creators. I'd like to call to the stage Bridget Farmer, please, who's an Eve Pownell shortlisted creator. Congratulations, Bridget. Next, we are going to acknowledge and congratulate our shadow judging joint winners. Very historical. This is the 4th year of shadow judging. This is a tie, and all those groups around Australia. So we're going to acknowledge first Tanya McCartney for Flora as the shadow judging winner. Please come forward, Tanya, and congratulations. Tanya, would you like to say something?
Those who know me know that I love to talk, but this will be very brief. This was really overwhelming for me. I just want to thank the shadow judges. It's you who matter, so this is just a true honour. When I wrote Fauna, Australia's Most Curious Creatures, it was really easy because kids love animals. They take the lion's share animals, excuse the pun. And I wanted to make Flora, the partner book, just as exciting, dynamic, scary, deadly, and hopefully these very clever children who have chosen Flora saw that in the book, so that means the world to me. Also want to say that this takes a village, all books take a village, and my amazing publisher Lauren Smith and my gorgeous team of Amelia Hartney and Maddie Warburton, I couldn't have done this without you. And thank you CBCA, happy, happy birthday. You are legends, you rock. Thanks.
And I'd like to invite Louise Pearce from Allen & Unwin representing Jess McGecken, who was the shadow judging joint winner for South with the Seabirds. and acknowledging the contributions of the Copyright Agency Cultural Fund. So for the first time this year, our shadow judging winners are actually recipients of a cash prize as a result of that grant, so we acknowledge them and thank their support as well. It's an absolute delight now to continue this acknowledgement with inviting Laura Carroll to come up. Laura is an Eve Pownell shortlisted creator and is actually the recipient of the Honour Book of the Year Award category. Congratulations. In addition there with South of the Seabirds. And of course, let's give a huge round of applause and congratulations, Sue and Auntie Faye. Please come forward. Eve Pownell Book of the Year Award winner. Someone like to speak? Beauty before.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to the Ngunnawal people and their elders, past and present, and to other First Nations people who are with us here today as well. I'd also like to acknowledge Magabala Books for publishing this great book of ours. We had to wait a while. It's about 6 years, but we got there in the end. To Marianne Ballantyne from Black Dog Books. She was the one that introduced me to Sue. That was over 10 years ago. And there's been some great catch-ups around the kitchen table and many, many cups of tea. I'd also like to say thank you to our students who read our books. We want them to go on a journey of learning. We are only giving them a little touch of what they've got to learn about our people, my people, from the early days, and go on that journey of learning. And also to CBCA, thank you so much for this great honour and privilege to have our books up. So thank you very much.
Oh, this is a bit crazy. When I started writing, I thought if you won the CBCA Book of the Year Award, you'd made it. And I feel like, I can't remember who said it now, I'm on the top of the mountain and it's a slippery slope down from here. Usually it's Faye correcting me. 2016, Faye. It's 9 years that since we first wrote the book. We faced a lot of hurdles. It's a book about truth-telling. It's an uncomfortable book. It's a book of courage and I think incredible grace of our First Nations people. I would like to thank Marianne Ballantyne because Marianne introduced us. She's also championed everything we've done. If it wasn't for Marianne, our books wouldn't be out there. She's somewhere overseas at the minute. Who knows with Marianne? She flits around. But thank you to Marianne for her incredible faith in us. I'd also like to thank Magabala Books for believing in the book and for allowing, for trusting our collaboration, particularly as a non-First Nations person. They've been so trusting in what we do together and what we want to do together. I want to thank Cole Baxter for his incredible, the more modern photos are his, the rest are all from the time. And Clothing the Gaps, which is a Melbourne-based company that do the most incredible clothes, the cover, my badge, and they gave us a lot of their material to use for the book. Reconciliation Australia championed the book, which was a huge shock, delight, but a shock to us. I want to say to the CBCA, thank you for championing kids' books and for encouraging us and particularly for encouraging Faye and I. They've always been huge supporters of our work, which sometimes is very chatty and I'm not sure it makes sense, but they keep asking us back, so apparently it does. And happy 80th birthday. It means a lot to receive this today. Fellow creators, all of you, congratulations, what a stunning amount of talent we have in Australia and how lucky we are. To the young people, the shadow judges and our readers, you're why we do it. You're the ones who hold the future of our land, particularly when it comes to the things that Faye and I write. Faye, your friendship, your generosity, your patience working with the most easily distracted and clearly chattable person you've ever met in your life, and for teaching me to say things, not that I do it very well, but I try. And finally to Bruce and Court, who both came with me. I wouldn't be doing this without you two, would never have picked up, well, I didn't pick up a pen, I would never have gone to the computer without you. Your faith and your continual support is everything. Thank you.
The panel photo. Yeah, of course.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to my son who drove all the way from Geelong yesterday and is driving back soon as we finish here today. So thank you for being here with.
I'm going to ask the entire shortlist panel for one photo together for the category, and then we'll have our final new illustrator.
It is now my great pleasure to welcome the creators that we have here today in the New Illustrator category. We have Nisaluk Chantanakon, Kristen Willis and Sarah Capon. Could you please come down to the stage? First of all, we'd like to acknowledge the shortlist creators we have here with us today. Nisaluk Chantanakon and Kristen Willis, could you come forward to receive a small gift? And our winner in this category is Sarah Capon for Grow Big Little Seed. Sarah, would you like to say a word?
Well, thank you so much for this award. I am so honoured to be here. Illustrating Grow Big Little Seed was a bit of a challenge for me as my first book. It's such a sensitive story and it holds so much all at once. There's loss and grief, but also hope, healing and joy. My goal was to bring a softness to those emotions and to create a world that felt safe, gentle and full of possibility. As we all know, making a picture book is a team effort, so I really need to thank author Beck Naniakara for her beautiful words and story in Grow Big Little Seed, and the publisher Hardy Grant for all of their work bringing this book into the world. I also need to thank my biggest cheerleader, my fiancé Ben, and of course the CBCA for this incredible recognition and for supporting new illustrators in the industry. I feel so lucky to now be a part of the Australian children's book community and I can't wait to keep creating more stories. Thank you.
Could we have a panel photo, please? As you can see, there are a lot of people involved in judging these awards, and many of these people's names are on the screen now. They've all done an amazing job judging, organising the awards, supporting the awards, and let's just give everyone involved a big round of applause. We would like to thank our official sponsors, many of whom are on the screen here now. Without the support of these sponsors, the CBCA would struggle to survive. So thank you so much for your support in the awards and the Children's Book Council in general. And I'd like to welcome now Dr. Alderman to the lectern to come and talk to us a little bit about 80 years of Australian children's literature. Thank you.
What more could anyone say than all of the words that we've heard today? They've been miraculous. But I'd like to acknowledge the elders and the people who have come to this community and the elders past and present. I'm going to be talking about the legacy of the Children's Book Council of Australia, although you already know it. You've already seen the evidence of it, haven't you? We all thrive on stories. They move us, they shake us, they give us insights into ourselves and others. Many gathered in this room today have experienced one of Australia's greatest achievements, the ongoing success of the Children's Book Council of Australia. Now 80 years young, this organisation has been instrumental in bringing stories into the lives of our young people, us too. We see ourselves and others in stories. We share our commonalities and our differences. We're the better for these experiences. Who's not had that experience when reading a story? We catch our breath, experience a rash of goosebumps. Perhaps we each have a favourite story from childhood. It never leaves us. The author's words, the illustrator's images are seared in our memories to be instantly recalled. We share our passion for them with others. At our centre, hardly a week goes by without someone asking for help for a book they remember from childhood. But wait. Here is where the Children's Book Council of Australia comes in. With thousands of English language children's books published every year worldwide, how do we know what's available? How do we know which books will meet the needs and interests of young people? And most importantly, which are the quality books? Here is where the CBCA comes in. Here's the challenge. Finding high-quality children's stories and matching just the right story for each child. Our centre surveyed all the awards given to children's books, Australian children's books, not long ago. We identified 58 awards given to children's books across Australia. I contend that the most influential for these children's books is the CBCA awards. Good reasons. Their longevity has built up trust and confidence and respect for these awards. The judges are well qualified for this task, and the award winners are more likely to remain available, and they're more likely to be appreciated throughout the world through being translated because of these awards. Take Bob Graham, for example. His picture books have frequently been translated. Many of these award winners are then known the world over. So Australian Children's Literature Awards have that sort of impact. While today the CBC has 6 categories of awards, in the beginning there was only one. The Children's Book of the Year was first awarded in 1946. 6 years later, in 1952, an award was established for the Picture Book of the Year. But there wasn't one deemed suitable or good enough until 4 years later. The Junior Book of the Year was launched in 1982, and the Eve Pownall Award for Information Books began in 1993. Then the emerging Australian illustrators are recognised by the New Illustrator Award. The names of these awards and the types of books entered have slightly modified and changed over the years, but what has remained is the vigilance and the strength of the CBCA in recognising the changes that were needed over time. Now, here's an important question. Is winning a CBCA award enough for its creators? As the number and quality of Australian children's books has increased, funds were needed to promote the awards and provide prize money for winning authors and illustrators. Two remarkable women that we've heard of earlier, Margaret Hamilton and June Smith, presented a big idea in 1995 at the annual general meeting of the CBCA. I well remember the glow in their eyes and the ferocity of their demand. An awards foundation must be established to raise $1 million in perpetuity so that the winning and honour books have a little bit of money for their efforts. Just 11 years later, in 2005, the Awards Foundation reached its $1 million goal. Now in 2025, nearly $2 million has been raised. These funds are held in trust, with the interest earned going to the award winners and honour books. What an amazing idea. What vision. There's always been a group of knowledgeable judges reading and exchanging views on which books should win the awards. They refer to detailed criteria published on the website for everyone to see to determine which books will receive the award. We all like a little bit of a competition. Why not children's books competing with each other to build anticipation and excitement? We're now treated to 7 months to wonder which books will be the ultimate winners. Firstly, there's 25 notable books are announced for each category, except the New Illustrator. And then in March, the short lists of 6 books in each category are announced. Then there's a mounting excitement, a tickling pleasure, even heating arguments over 7 long months as we wonder who will be the winners. Later, we can read the judges' reports and find out what they thought about the books. Even an organisation, or ever an organisation of ideas, in comes the young people's involvement. We're all so enormously impressed by young people. Honestly, we can just all go home and let them do their work. It's people with passion who make things happen. From its beginning 80 years ago, CBA supporters have banded together, creating loud and vociferous voices right across Australia. Hundreds of Australian children's books are published annually. But which ones will last? The CBCA highlights many children's books of literary and artistic quality in its online journal, Reading Time. First published in print in 1957, it continues to review these books, interviews the creators, and promotes the awards. In conclusion, the CBCA has had an essential and secure place in the Australian children's book world, now and for the future. I'll leave you with my views of what I think have been the CBCA's major achievements over 80 long years. It's led by committed and knowledgeable people. It promotes high-quality Australian children's literature. It features new books, interviews, and news through Reading Time. It works with many related organisations to achieve much more than it could do alone. It recognises individual contributions through its Noun Chauncey Award and the Lifetime Achievement Award. And importantly, it involves young people voices in its awards. This is a tightly knit organisation with literally thousands of volunteers across Australia, each individual lending their passion, their knowledge, and their commitment to raising the 80-year-old CBCA to ever new heights. Happy birthday, CBCA. Your achievements are legion. Your work is valued. Long may you prosper. Thank you.
makes me very proud to be part of the CBCA, having heard all that. Thank you so much, Belle. Well, on behalf of the Children's Book Council, I know we've been sitting for a long, long time and we're ready for something to eat and something to drink, but I just have a few thank yous that I would like to share with you. First of all, thank you for being part of this really special celebration. To our distinguished guests and our dignitaries, our sponsors and partners, your support helps us to advocate for the importance of literacy, literature, the importance of stories in shaping young minds, and nurturing this culture of reading that's so important on a local, state, and even national level. To our shortlisted creators, our honour winners, our shadow judging winners, congratulations. Your creativity is inspirational, and we are the actual winners of your great talent. A very special thank you too to the shadow judging winners. These choices speak volumes about the depth and thoughtful engagement of readers across the country. And they remind us that our most important critics are the very ones who read and engage with these books. And we've heard some amazing speakers today, and I thank you so much for your insight today with this shortlist. Thank you to the National Library of Australia for hosting this celebration, and to stand in a place dedicated to preserving and sharing stories while recognising the stories of today is really meaningful, so thank you. And to all those who work so tirelessly in promoting reading, our teachers, our librarians, our booksellers, our publishers, our parents and carers, we thank you for your advocacy and we acknowledge that. And just finally, I would like to pay particular thanks to the CBCA's ACT branch, to Julie Long and Justine Power, to our wonderful video presenters, and to our awards conveners, Alex Wharton and Marissa Caluzzi, to Kate O'Donnell. And finally, I'd like you to visit our YouTube channel to see some of our wonderful birthday video messages, to join our wonderful birthday celebrations in your state or region on Saturday, the 23rd of August. It should be a great party everywhere across the country. And finally, to enjoy the buzz of Children's Book Week coming up on Monday. So thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you, everybody, for staying the distance. We are going to leave in an orderly fashion. I'd like to ask the official... don't we have something to give to the Governor-General? Please come up, Your Excellency. We have a very special presentation for you. Please stay seated while the official people... Sorry, I'm running out of words. Official people go. And then I would like to ask all the shortlisted authors and illustrators to stand and leave. Nobody else, nobody else.